Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda. In today's video we are going to do a easy nail art tutorial featuring marbles, water decals, cat's eye, French and ombres. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. I wanted to do a bit of a longer nail art design today, so I'm working on some display tips. The two main colours we're going to be using are Ballet Charm and Mojito Ice. And for the first design, we're going to go in and do a ombre French. So to create this look, you're going to start off by doing a basic ombre. So I'm going to come in with Ballet Charm at the cuticle area, take that down to roughly halfway down the nail, and then take Mojito Ice from where that Ballet Charm ends to the tip of the nail. I'm then going to take my ombre brush and start blending those two colours right where they meet. This is then going to create a transitional shade. I'm then going to blend the Ballet Charm into the transitional shade, clean off my brush, and then blend the transitional shade into Mojito Ice. Every time you see my brush go out of shot, I'm just cleaning it up on an alcohol pad. This removes any of the excess gel polish from your brush and it helps you create a nice, clean, crisp blend between your two colors. Never stress if your first coat of an ombre it doesn't look perfect. Majority of the time you'll come in and perfect that blend on the second coat. So here we are, we've cured our first coat and we're going to do exactly the same steps on that second coat. So Ballet Charm down at the cuticle area, Mojito Ice at the tip. Starting off right where those two colours meet, I'm going to blend them together using nice light feathery strokes using my ombre brush. Once we've created that transitional shade, I'm going to clean off my brush, go in again and blend the Ballet Charm where it meets that transitional shade. Again, nice light feathery strokes and cleaning off our brush regular. I'm then going to come in and blend the transitional shade in the centre with our Mojito Ice. Then, because this is the second coat and this is where we want our blend to look perfect, I'll come back in any areas where that ombre needs a little bit more attention and just gently blend those areas. Again, cleaning off my brush regular, and look how seamless this ombre looks. Don't worry if you have any unevenness or brush strokes. If you leave the nail for a few seconds to settle before popping it into cure, these will disappear and you won't see them once you come in and top coat either. Now on top of this design, we're going to be doing a French nail tip. So I'm going to be using the new Kiki London white gel paint with my French brush. So I'm going to take a small amount of this and kind of work it through my brush. I didn't have enough on my brush, as you can see here it's dragging. So I go in and add a little bit more to load up that brush, working it through the bristles, and then I'm going to press down, flip my brush over and do exactly the same on the other side to create our smile line. I don't want this to be a too deep smile line, but this is why I worked on a longer nail tip so that we could get a nice deep smile line but without covering up too much of our ombre look. And then once I've perfected the smile line, I'm going to use the longer end of the French nail brush to drag that line down right towards the base of that nail tip to give us that really nice deep look. Obviously there's so many different styles of French out there, so you could kind of create a French tip to suit whatever look, but I really am loving this whole ombre French look where you're combining two fairly simple styles once you've got the hang of them together to create a really fun design. I am going to do another ombre French tip further along in the video, but we're going to do a few things differently because we're going to use glitter, and I'm also going to show you guys how I do a French tip now if I don't have the French brush. So this is what this looked like. Now the gel paint is super highly pigmented, so one coat has done our French tip perfectly, so this does make doing a French a lot easier. Now we're going to come in and top coat, and I'm top coating today using the no wipe rubber top coat. This is my go-to top coat for encapsulating any kind of nail art, whether that be water decals, stamping, foils, hand painted nail art, French tips, ombre, whatever it is. This is my go-to because it smooths everything out. Where it's that bit of a thicker consistency, it gives you that gorgeous encapsulation layer with that high shine. So we're going to move on to our second nail design, and on this nail we're going to be doing a fairly simple marble. I'm going to come in and do one coat of Ballet Charm. Now, you're not actually going to see much of this colour because we're going to be covering it up with a marble. So rather than wasting product or creating unnecessarily layers, I'm just going to do one coat of this. I'm then going to take the colours that I'm going to use in my marble and place them down on my palette. So we're going to use Ballet Charm, Mojito Ice, and then this is where I'm going to start introducing a bit of glitter into this design. We're going to take Aqua Azure, which is from the Spring Bling collection. Now, I've pretty much done majority of this video as 5 individual nails, so you could put these together as a set if you wanted to. I tried to combine the colors so they still would work as a set, but I kind of wanted to show 5 different techniques just to give you guys some nail art inspiration. Now, whenever I'm doing a marble, before I transfer my marble from my palette to my nail, I will always do a thin layer of blooming gel. This just helps pull that marble gel polish off your brush onto the nail, and then depending on the look you're going for, it's going to help those colors run and bloom together and create a different marble effect. We're not necessarily creating too much of a bloomed effect in this particular design, but there are lots of videos up on the channel where I've done different marbles and you can kind of see the different effects. But all I'm really doing for this one is placing the colors down onto the nail. I did leave a fairly, I suppose, a medium-sized patch left there of Ballet Charm because I still wanted to see some of that base layer coming through, so you could kind of see the fact that this marble was layered over that nice natural pink shade. But before I pop this into Cure, I'm just pulling some of those colours around with my dotting tool, and one of the great things about a marble is I feel like it's really hard to go wrong with them. As long as you keep your layers nice and thin, you won't have any curing issues, and they always just come out looking really, really pretty. So once I was happy with the marbled effect, I did pop it into Cure. I always cure my marbles for 60 seconds just because you are applying the product a little bit thicker than a regular layer of gel polish. So I just like to make sure it's fully cured. And then we come in, added that layer of rubber top coat, which again is going to give us that super smooth finish, and cured this for 60 seconds. The rubber top coat does require a 60-second cure. Some of the Kiki London top coats only require a 30-second cure, so do check depending on what top coat you're using if you are recreating any of these designs. On to the next now, we're going to start off with a base of Ballet Charm. I'm going to do 2 coats of this because you are going to see a fair bit of this in the design. Now, Ballet Charm is one of my absolute favourite pinky nude shades, and I think it's because it's quite versatile. In 2 coats, it's a very opaque, creamy, natural pinky nude. In 1 coat, it gives off a more sheer, natural look. So you can use it in 1 coat if you want a more natural look, or 2 if you want that more full opaque look. On this now, and on the next now, we're going to be doing some cat's eye. So I'm using liquid gold from the Kiki London Cat's Eye collection, taking a small amount on my strap liner brush, and I'm just going to create 2 cutouts on the nail, and then these are going to kind of frame the center part of the nail, and we're going to layer some water decals over the top. So I'm going to come in and do my cat's eye design on both the nails, and then we'll apply our water decals. So I've gone in with my strap liner brush first of all, just to map out the areas, get a nice neat swoosh across the nail, and then I'm going to come in with my bottle brush to fill those areas in. The cat's eye gel polish has a really lovely thin consistency to it, so it is great for layering up in nail art designs. You're not going to end up with like a bulky ridge between the Ballet Charm that we've got underneath and then the liquid gold here. Just neatening up again with my strap liner brush, and then before we pop this into Cure, you're going to want to take your Kiki London Cat's Eye magnet and create the cat's eye effect. Of course, this is optional. If you want to use liquid gold without the cat's eye effect, you can. It's actually a really pretty shade on its own. It's such a gorgeous, it's got a bit of a champagne vibe to it, but I'm going to come in with my magnet and create that cat's eye effect, and then once you're happy with that, you're going to pop that in to Cure for 30 seconds. Now, like I said, I am going to add decals to that now, but because I was adding decals to this one as well, I thought we would do our base for this one first of all. Now on this nail, I wanted to try something different, and that was to layer the Cat's Eye liquid gold over the Mojito Ice. So I'm going to come in and do 2 thin coats of Mojito Ice, curing each coat for 30 seconds. And can we just appreciate how gorgeous this shade is for spring? I love a green for spring. Last week we used Willow, but this week I had to give this one a go because it is such a beautiful shade. But what I'm going to then do is come over and do a full thin coat of liquid gold. So of course it's going to cover up a lot of that Mojito Ice, but it completely changes the look of the liquid gold, in my opinion. When you see them side by side, you'll notice that difference a little bit more. So I'm going to come in, keeping this nice and thin because we still want a little hint of that green coming through. I'm then going to take my magnet and play around and create a cat's eye swoosh across the nail. And when I was doing this, it reminded me of, I don't know if anyone else remembers, but there used to be these sweets. I believe they were called chocolate limes, and they were chocolate on the inside and then like hard lime candy on the outside. I remember my nan used to love them as well as my dad. And when I was doing this, for some reason, it completely reminded me of that, because on the sweet, you would be able to see like the translucent green, but then the chocolate slightly through it. And this was kind of like a reversal of that. But here you can see, quite a bit sidetracked there, but there you can see the difference in using liquid gold over a nude colour compared to using it over the green. So it was really fun to play around and try it out with a different colour base, because obviously I've used it over a lot of lighter colours, and I've used it over black as well, which gives another different effect to it. But yeah, it was really fun and an easy way to play around with your cat's eye colours. So now I'm going to add some water decals to both of these nails. I believe these ones are the stencil leaves, but as always, I will list all the products I've used in today's video in the description box below. So do check that out if you are wondering what products, or if you have any questions, pop me a comment and I will be happy to help. So I've applied my water decals today using the traditional method. So we've cut them out nice and close to the image, and then I've soaked them in some room temperature water for around 10-20 seconds. And I wanted to show you guys a little tip kind of thing. So on this nail, I've actually wiped off the tacky inhibition layer that's left behind from curing. Sometimes you might find you've had to do this because you've made a mistake in your nail art. Some people actually prefer to wipe off the tacky layer. I always find it's a lot harder to apply water decals over the top if you've wiped off your tacky inhibition layer, because they just run a little bit more and it takes a little bit longer for the water to dry out and for them to stick in place. So you see there, I had a lot of faff trying to get them to stay in place. This is also why I love using water decals over gel polish compared to any other product. So this now, I've left that tacky inhibition layer on for my cat's eye, and that decal is stuck down instantly in place. Annoyingly, I got something smudged at the cuticle area there, which we do wipe off, but it's stuck down instantly in place. So I'm able to go straight in with my silicone tool and smooth out any of the creases. It just makes application so much easier applying these over a tacky inhibition layer from your gel polish. Obviously, if you've done, say, an acrylic nail or a build gel, sculpting gel nail, and you've filed and buffed and you're left with a matte surface, that can't be helped. Then I would recommend going in with a layer of foil gel. That's then going to give you a nice tacky base for your water decals to stick onto. Here, because my water decals are coming off the edge of the nail slightly, I'm just melting away that excess using a little teeny tiny bit of acetone on an old nail art brush. Now, of course, we do need to come in and top coat to seal in those water decals. You do want to make sure they've dried all that excess water. It doesn't take long, especially when you're working on the nail with the tacky inhibition layer, but you want to make sure, just test them that they're not moving around before you go in with your top coat. And then if you do have any unevenness, just hold your nail upside down for a few seconds after floating on your rubber top coat, and that will smooth everything out. And I love the Kiki London water decals because the paper that they are printed on is a really fine transparent film, so you don't see the line around the water decal. I will show you guys these two nails up close once we've finished curing the top coat, and you'll see what I mean. So again, rubber top coat, floating my layer on, holding it upside down for a few seconds, and look how seamless that looks. I absolutely loved adding these two water decals on in this design because it gives a nice little hint of spring. On to the fifth and final design, we're going to be doing an ombre French again, but this time we're going to be doing it with glitter, but I'm going to be doing it slightly different to how I would do a glitter fade. So if I'm doing a glitter fade, normally I would apply my full colour over the entire nail. So in this case, I would have done 2 coats of Mojito Ice, cured those, and then I'd come over the top and feather my glitter back. But I actually wanted this glitter to blend into the Mojito Ice, so I'm going to do it exactly the same way I would as if I was ombre and 2 colours together, but I just spend a little bit more time making sure that glitter blends back into the Mojito Ice. But again, similar to before, you're going to create a transitional shade, but because it's a glitter, it's not going to be as noticeable of a transitional shade, so you want to spend that little bit more time just mixing it together, but then also making sure that whatever colour you've got down at the starting point, so the cuticle area in this one, you're not taking that too far down the tip because you don't want to fully cover up your glitter. Same as before though, 1 coat isn't going to look perfect, but you can come in and perfect your blend on that 2nd coat. So that's exactly what we're going to do now. Apply our Mojito Ice at the cuticle, taking it halfway down the nail, and then going in with our Aqua Azure, blending those two together to right down where the 2 colours meet, cleaning off my brush, and then I'm going to go in, blend out the Mojito Ice a little bit more, clean off my brush, and then we're going to play around with that glitter a little bit and just very gently feather those 2 colours together so that we don't cover up our glitter too much. The great thing about the glitters in the Spring Bling collection is they do have a bit of a colour base to them rather than being clear, so it does make blending them this way a little bit easier because you're not going to lose that glitter amongst your colour. But as you can see, I'm taking a little bit more time, and then if you need to, you can come in with a little bit more glitter on your ombre brush just at the tip and blend that back. But I really loved how this looked, and it kind of looks as though that glitter has melted into the Mojito Ice. Now on the top of this, now we're going to do some hand painting French with our stripe liner brush, and I just wanted to show you guys another way to make hand painting easier if you don't have a matte top coat. So I think I mentioned in last week's video, I always like to hand paint any kind of design over a matte surface. Well, if you don't want to add another bulky layer to the nail, or maybe you've already got a bulky nail because you've done lots of layered nail art, instead of coming in with a layer of matte top coat, you can simply wipe with a layer of alcohol and then very gently buff the surface of the nail, and then this gives you a semi matte surface, which is perfect to do your hand painting over the top of. So here I'm going to do the same French that we did on the first nail, but using my stripe liner brush. So this is kind of like an old school way to me to do French. You come across the nail where you want your smile line tip to be, and then straight down each side of the nail to create your wings, and then you're going to just curve off that blunt square shape or coffin shape where the 2 lines meet, and then you're simply going to fill in the tip using the gel paint to make sure you're fully covering. And then I just like to come in and neaten up any areas. I find using the French brush easier, but with the new gel paints where they're slightly thicker consistency, especially for the wings, it was a little bit easier to do it with the stripe liner brush. So it's great to play around and use different products and different tools together. With the French brush, when you are using it with the gel paint, I would just say to take a little on your brush but really work it through the brush, and then it makes application a little bit easier. And the French brush is definitely my go-to for any kind of French nail design. But when you are wanting these really deep smile lines where they're running right down to the cuticle area, it is a little bit easier to do those parts with the stripe liner brush. And then of course you only need 1 coat of the gel paint because it is so highly pigmented, so it does make it a lot quicker to go in and do a gel paint tip rather than a gel polish tip. And then once we've cured that, we're going to come in and top coat using the rubber top coat to give us that nice high shine, super smooth finish. And then this was the finished result. And then that brings us to the end of the video. So I really loved playing around with some spring nail art techniques and some spring shades. So I really hope you got some inspiration from this set. If there are any color themes or designs you would like to see for spring, please do pop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to give them a go. As always, all the products I've used will be linked in the description box below, so do check that out. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.